every decision that you make is either a vote for being that person that you want to be or being the person that you were or are.
Talk about like what do you feel like the impact was and what's the difference like whenever you are on psychedelics and running a marathon versus not. I remember our parents saying like go to college, get a career, have insurance, have a 401k, like all that stuff, and it was really a trauma response from them having to start from scratch, not having the schooling, not knowing the language, not having the education. Hi, my name's Diana Nicarici with Nurse Gone Rogue, and I've got here John Bordone from Get Psyched Fitness with me today. Is that how you pronounce your name, John Bordone or Bourdain, like Anthony Bourdain?
Bourdain. Yes.
Bourdain. All right.
Although I do like, Johnny Bordeaux and stuff like that. My
Or Johnny
family,
Boy.
and Johnny B.
Johnny B.
Johnny Boy works, I guess.
Johnny B with Baby T.
Yeah, there it is.
Shout out to Baby T, who's not here today, but will be one day.
The queen of Get Psyched Fitness.
Exactly. The queen of the empire.
Indeed.
Well, that's a great intro into a segue into like what you actually do and what your passion is. And would you like to talk a little bit about like Get Psyched Fitness and what the inspiration was behind it?
Whew, what the inspiration was. Wow. I mean, I don't know if we can fit all that into a 1-hour podcast, but we'll try to condense it down and make it composable.
We're going to make this a 1-2 super huge hit.
Yeah, so Get Psyched is, kind of the brainchild of a long life of, searching for what my passion really was and fighting what that was for a long time, and that's fitness. I had so many experiences earlier in life that told me that pursuing that as a career path wasn't a viable option, and so I shied away from it from a long time. And I had my experience that changed my life with psilocybin mushrooms back 3 years ago, and when I had that, it kind of woke me up to the fact that I was living a life of not purpose at that point, that there were so many things that I was doing that was taking away from who I really wanted to be in the world and the type of impact that I wanted to make for people. Mm-hmm. And about a little over a year after that experience, I was still going through this very deep, lonely period, this period of searching, this period of, trying to figure out how I wanted to show up in the world and what was going to be the best version of myself for the people in my life. And I had a realization, and that was that, what I was doing was not the path that I wanted to be on. And I, had a complete emotional breakdown on the St. Pete Pier, and we can get into that later in the top talk if we'd like to. But
Yeah.
in that moment, I connected with God for the first time in my life, and I was, told that if I follow what I know is right for myself, and that's, bringing this passion that I have for fitness to the forefront, that everything's going to work out. And, along with that came the desire to help people with psilocybin mushrooms, because I had just an experience that completely flipped my life on its head. And, the person that I am today is nowhere near the person that I was 3 years ago. And so to be able to look at myself with that lens and be able to reflect on the type of impact that it had for me, I wanted to bring that experience to other people. So when I had that breakdown on the pier and I had this realization of what I wanted to do from a fitness standpoint, with that came the desire to coach people through psilocybin use as well. And so I started taking courses to make sure that I was certified and understood all the ins and outs of how to do that appropriately. And that's how Get Psyched Fitness was born. It's a melding of the body, mind, and spirit in the most amazing way possible to create complete transformation for the people that I work with.
That's awesome. I got goosebumps whenever you talked about like your experience and met God for the first time. Mm-hmm. I just like a follow-up question on that came to my mind was, do you remember the first memory in like childhood when you maybe thought that fitness could be a viable career, and like what snuck in at which point to like kind of shoot that down and say like, no, that's not possible?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't fitness exactly, but fitness adjacent. I was a baseball player, and that was my whole fucking identity. I'm assuming you can curse.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an everybody podcast. My kids curse.
Cool.
Kids in middle school are cursing. It's okay.
Beautiful.
We need to be relatable to them.
Yeah, wonderful. Mm-hmm. All right, so no holds barred. Yeah, so I was a baseball player, and that was my whole identity, and I.
By
one.
choice, or did you kind of like get pushed into that? Was it like parents that were like super excited to get you into sports and like
Yeah,
was
no,
that
no, not at all,
no?
honestly.
Okay.
My dad wasn't an athlete, my mom wasn't an athlete, my brother played sports, but, you know, in high school got more into partying than sports. Same thing with my sister, and they were 10 and 12 years older than me, so it's not like we were very close in age, but I got to see them as a role model. And, I had this insane passion for baseball that was born literally from the time I started t-ball. I remember going to play soccer in the fall after doing t-ball and crying on the first day of soccer because it wasn't baseball.
Oh, you were that
Oh yeah.
into it.
Oh yeah. Loved
Okay.
it. I watched every Phillies game. I would play as, much as I was able to, which, now that I'm able to reflect and understand what my habits were, I understand that what I was doing wasn't enough and that I wasn't as poured into it as I really needed to be successful. And,
By
part of
by wasn't enough. What do you mean by that?
what I mean by that is I would,
Wasn't enough, like wasn't educated enough, wasn't motivated enough, wasn't supported enough. Like what was that? Because you were a kid, right? So like can't really fault yourself for being a kid and not
you know,
doing enough when you don't know it.
there was no example in my life of the type of hard work that you need to put in to truly be successful at something. And, I would play all throughout the spring, summer, fall. By the time winter came, I was practicing or lifting weights 6 days a week. So it's not like I wasn't doing things, but I wasn't going above and beyond those 1 2 hour sessions every day, right? I wasn't going home and continuing to work out. I wasn't, swinging at home or hitting off the tee and stuff like that. I was doing what was required of me and excelling in those spots that I was active, but I wasn't going above and beyond and really digging myself into it. And what you asked, motivations, like what tore me away from that, and part of it is the people around you, friends, family, who don't really have that understanding of what it takes to be successful in an endeavor like that. And so because they don't understand what it takes to be successful in that type of endeavor, they dissuade you from pursuing something like that. They tell you, oh, just go be a lawyer, go be a doctor, whatever. You're smart, get a good degree, like work with this. That's not what I want to do. That's not what I want
Right.
to do. But you get pushed down this path by people who you believe know better than you, because they do in some regard, right? They have lived life experience, but they don't understand what it truly takes to do that. If I had that one person in my life that said, "You want to be a baseball player? Oh, buckle up, buddy. I'm going to show you the way." Who
You
knows? I
pro-
might
do
still be
you
playing.
do you feel like you would have totally like taken it and ran with it if you would have found a mentor?
You know, I I would like to think so. I'm a hyper competitive person. I'm somebody who, when I set myself on a goal, I attack it wholeheartedly. And I'd like to think that if I had that type of influence in my life to truly show me the way to be able to dig into something like that, that it's something that I might be playing today. But uh, you can't
Yeah.
dwell on the what ifs,
Yeah.
because life's a long time and you learn a lot through the process.
Absolutely. And I think that journey definitely obviously sounds like it spoke into like what you do today. But I'd like to speak about maybe that like limiting belief system, because like as an immigrant Romanian girl, like I remember our parents saying like go to college, get a career, have insurance, have a 401k, like all that stuff. And it was really a trauma response from them having to start from scratch, not having the schooling, not knowing the language, not having the education, and having to really like scrape by however they could. So I feel like, people kind of demonize like these limiting beliefs from our parents, thinking that it's like, if only you would have pushed me or you would have encouraged me, but I just want to also make sure that the audience understands that like sometimes parents will do it just out of pure love and like ignorance type of thing, like we just don't know, and there's a fear of the unknown, and if you haven't really broken that glass ceiling as an adult, then the tendency is like, how can I protect my child from going through what I had to go through? Do you believe that that's like maybe more of the posture of like why they were kind of like do something secure,
Yeah,
like
no,
yeah,
absolutely, a
yeah,
million percent. And I can see that, right? And I
mm-hmm.
don't fault anybody who for
Oh
you know
yeah,
not telling me to pursue something that only 0.1% less of people
Right.
to ever pick up a baseball bat or are going to make money doing it, right? So no, I can't fault anyone for that. And at the same time, I like I wasn't given God-given talents to be an athlete, right? I'm 5'8",
What are you
100.
talking about? You are one of the most athletic people I know. The one thing that I always remember, and I tell people whenever I talk to them about you, is I'm like, yeah, my bro John from like ESC. I mean, Get Psyched Fitness. And I was like, he runs ultra marathons while he's tripping. Like, let's talk about that because I think that's like the banger that like everybody's gonna want to hear about it. You know?
Yeah. So what do you want to know?
I mean, how, like, tell us, because we'll move through. I told you I have so many categories I want to touch with you and like talk about. But this one in particular, I feel like we limit ourselves, right? Like, I'm going to say, like, I'm not a natural athlete, but I was a high performance athlete my entire childhood. And now, speaking into like my adult life, I go back to like what I've learned and now what I'm learning about what I should have learned as a kid, forcing my body in certain ways. But talk about like what drove you to take like I mean, you were tripping, you ran a 100-mile what was
Not
it,
not
30-mile, what?
not yet, not yet. 100 miles next month.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're working up to that.
All right, we're working up to that, which sounds impossible to me, but I know it's possible for you. But like, tell us about, where did you hear that that's even a possibility? How did you feel while you were doing that? Like, what do you feel like the impact was, and what's the difference like whenever you are on psychedelics and running a marathon versus not?
Yeah.
What goes on through your like mind? Like, we already know that's a huge like challenge to do and to perform in that way and to have your body perform. And it's already a mind over matter. Like, your body wants to stop and your mind is like, no, buddy, we're going, we're going, we're going. Like, what goes on through your mind while you're also tripping? I'm
Well,
so curious.
yeah, so let me take it back. My psychedelic usage started when I was a senior in high school. I tried mushrooms then. I had the worst timing in the world because it was the day after I quit playing baseball. So ego death followed by ego death.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good.
Not a
So
good mental place.
exactly.
Which is a good thing to kind of talk about, right?
Yeah, set and setting.
Yeah. So what is it?
Set your mindset and setting your physical location.
Set and setting are the two most important things when you're using psychedelics, if you're contemplating using psychedelics.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So let's move on from there.
Yeah. Anyway, so I started my psychedelic usage then with mushrooms. Sideways experience. It scared me away from it. I didn't use mushrooms again for 11 years. But I tried LSD the next year, had a much better experience. Right after a concert, I'm at my mom's house. I'm with a girl that I'm dating. It's a very nice, comfortable experience. We're listening to Led Zeppelin and Blink-182 and just having a grand old fucking
All the
time.
goodies, yeah.
Yeah. And, it was beautiful. And so I felt comfortable with trying LSD again. I tried it, probably 15 times between then, which was 2012, and, when I had my experience with mushrooms. We'll just kind of put that as two bookends. So, tried it about 15 times during that point. And there was one time along the journey when I came down to visit Tampa because I was considering moving here and I wanted to check out the city. And I road tripped from here through Georgia and the Carolinas, hitting all different cities along the way just to see what really spoke to me.
Right.
And somewhere along the way, I found a half a tab of acid that I had in my wallet. And I was like, fuck, why not?
It's destiny.
Exactly. And I had probably 3 or 4 hours in the car. And, a half a tab of acid is a mild dose if you're used to doing LSD. So,
Okay.
it was something where I did it. I went for a walk around Charleston. It kind of got into the point where I'm no longer peaking. There's no real powerful effects, but I can still feel it in the background. And so I hop in the car and I'm driving up and I'm like, I could really go for a nice lift right now. And so I stop at a gym along the way and I go in and I'm working out. And the way that I can feel the contractions in my muscles is something unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. Like the mind muscle connection is something that I talk about all the time with my clients, especially when we're first starting out, because it's so important to be able to understand what muscles are contracting when you're doing certain movements. And the easiest way for me to explain is like if you close your eyes, if you keep your eyes open and you squeeze your bicep, okay, you can feel that, right? Now, if you close your eyes and squeeze your bicep, all of a sudden you've blocked out everything else external, and you're able to dig into that a little bit more. When you're on psychedelics, it's boom.
Wow.
I feel like I can see an anatomy chart of myself and legitimately see and feel the muscles contracting. And so very micro adjustments in the angle of your arm or the pronation or supination and stuff like that can really hit different parts of the muscle and dig you into what the most effective way to do that exercise is going to be. And so when I did that for the first time, it was this really big eye-opening experience. And I'd been heavily into powerlifting, I'll say bodybuilding, but my diet was
Loosely,
shit.
yeah.
So I looked like a fucking fat slob in my mind. But I'd been into weightlifting for a long time, so I understood the way that my body moved. Right? So there's a very strong level of understanding that comes from 10 plus years in the gym, 15 years, whatever it was, that had already built up. So this isn't something where I would give to somebody who's just learning how to work out and say, hey, look, see how this feels.
Right.
You need to have some sort of understanding of what's going on in your body already. But yeah, when I tried that for the first time, it was a really eye-opening experience, but it wasn't something that I really understood as a tool until after I had my psilocybin experience, which was 6 months after that. And when I did that, one of the big things, and I forget what question you asked and really how we got on this, but you want to know about what it's like to be on psychedelics and do athletics. So
Specifically, even like marathon, you're already in this like mental battle of like your body just wants to quit and your mind is like, no, we're going to keep going.
Yep.
How does that, because when I've ever experienced like, any kind of, even functional mushroom use, it's like a lot of my paranoias or anxieties or sometimes creep up out of the subconscious into my conscious, and I'm very aware of that, which is like good and bad, right? Because like then to deal with it, defragment, get rid of it. But at the same time, if you're stuck in that loop, like how do you stay out of the loop, or did you ever get into one of those loops, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, so that loop was something that had plagued me my whole life until I found psilocybin. And when I started taking psilocybin as an adult, the first time was on October 9th of 2022, so we just passed the 3-year anniversary of that. And the first time was a 0.5 gram dose, and it was a very powerfully emotional experience. Just tears came out of me for 4 hours straight, really deep,
very cathartic,
trauma that I was unlocking. But then the second time, I did a gram because that 0.5 gram was, very minor. It's
just enough to scratch the surface.
Exactly.
Right.
And so I was planning on going to EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, EDM Festival.
Yeah.
And, bought a bunch of mushrooms for that and wanted to understand what it was going to be like to be on mushrooms in that type of environment. So I wanted to start with a small dose and work my way up to figure
Which
out
is
the
smart,
dosing.
because a lot of people just kind of take it unknowingly and then they're like, oh my God, someone get me out of this social experience.
Yep. And that's exactly
some people just shut down.
Yeah. And that's exactly where those loops can really, 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 really fuck with you, because you're not comfortable with being in that state of mind yet. And so, when I did my second dose before the festival, and there were 3, the second one was a gram dose, which is kind of like the lower end of what I call a social dose. 1 to 1.5 grams typically I'll say is kind of like the go out to
with
bar,
your friends,
party,
feeling safe, whatever kind of thing. Yeah.
And so we did a gram, and I was with my friends. We were in my apartment. It was about an hour into the experience, and I was expecting to trip. I didn't really understand the dosing at that point. And My friend was getting pretty anxious, so we were like, okay, well, let's take a walk to the Riverwalk. We're in downtown Tampa.
Yeah, because
And
some people do kind of feel like restless leg type of symptoms, right?
yeah, well,
Or like just moving their body. What do you know about that? I have some friends that have been like that in the past.
on psilocybin.
Yeah, I think I can't remember what it was on, but it was like yes, they needed to move.
So I'll say this is that
Is it just because it awakens the nervous system so much to such a heightened thing that you just feel all of the areas that need like energy to move through them? Or how would you describe it in layman's terms?
yeah. So what I would say is this is that we all have unique minds, right? Nobody's mind operates the same way, has the same lived experience, learned experience, whatever. And when you're on something like that, especially if you're not familiar with the feeling, it can be a bit overwhelming. And it can be something where, there are thoughts that come to you, there are different,
Than your
neural
day-to-day,
pathways than
right.
you're used to experiencing. And if you are uncomfortable with those thoughts that can come up, it can cause you to become paranoid, to close away. And so, when I'm dealing with clients and we're doing high dose sessions, managing set and setting is huge because you want to make sure that there's nothing external that's going to preempt any sort of anxious response or anything
Right.
like that. But if there is anything like that that comes up, it's not shying away from it and trying to shut that down and say, oh no, I'm not anxious, I'm not thinking about that. It's, wait a second, why is that coming up?
Yes.
Let me explore that.
That's the defragmenting word that I like to use, like the computer that has the congested memory and it has all these gaps in between the memories. Like when you want to create more space and efficiency for the computer, it like defragmenting is like sticking all of the memories together kind of thing and then leaving a lot of capacity and space for other stuff to be put in.
Gotcha.
And that's why I like correlate it with the psychedelic use with defragmenting because I feel like it's very similar. That's been like the experience that I've noticed with like any kind of like mushroom use type of thing.
Gotcha. So, when we went down to the Riverwalk, I'd been diagnosed with anxiety. I was prescribed SSRIs. I was on them for 3 years at that point.
SSRIs are, for all the people that don't know,
Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Basically, it stops your brain from, expelling all of the serotonin.
and it keeps it, kind of hoards it type of thing.
Yeah.
It's like an antidepressant. Okay.
Exactly. And I mean, I think they're bullshit.
Great.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about that because I do too. I think saffron could do so much more than SSRIs, to be honest.
Yeah, and fish
Little-
oil and
Yeah.
psilocybin.
Working out. Like I
Working out.
honestly like because I wanna switch topics, but I do wanna pay a really great homage to like working out, especially strength training. Obviously, I'm a leg girl, like legs are life type of girl. Anyone that hasn't seen John shirtless has not seen like the perfect trifecta of like yeah, baby T. I'm just confirming and validating. Like he's literally like strong man, on paper in real life. But strength training, I will say, has started popping up more and more and more in complex PTSD recovery and healing trauma, creating new neural pathways in the brain. Obviously, dopamine, like all of the good, positive endorphins flooding the brain. And I think there's a lot to it that we're not really using. And we have such a sedentary society at this point that we're not really like talking about how huge of an antidepressant working out actually is.
Yeah.
Like I know people with bipolar disorder, bipolar manic depressive disorder that are like, yes, I got started on medications when I first got diagnosed, but then I started working out, being conscious of my sleep cycle, being conscious of what I'm putting in my body, like whether it's like through my eyes, through my mouth, like through my ears, like all the senses. and were able to actually like either decrease their medication with their practitioner's assistance or completely stop medication just based, but that is their medication regimen. Working out, sleeping well, eating well, healthy mindset, having the people around you that have accountability.
Yeah.
So is that kind of something that, like, what would be let's say your ideal client to work with at Get Psyched Fitness?
Yeah. I mean, my ideal client is somebody who feels like they are in a good spot in life, but understands that life could be a lot better and doesn't quite understand what it is that they're missing, right? Typically somebody between the ages of, I'll say 30 and 40, it's kind of the sweet spot for that, trying to figure out life and really searching for those
Midlife
answers.
crisis
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah.
We hate to call it that.
Maybe a quarter
Midlife
crisis
awakening.
with,
Yeah.
with our longevity protocols nowadays.
Right.
Who knows? 120 might be the new 80.
Believing that and receiving that myself.
Yes. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
We're gonna be scaling mountains at 150.
Exactly.
Book it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's somebody who's really gone through a lot in their life and is looking for a way to make sure that their life is in the best possible position moving forward.
I'd like to
so
ask
much,
you a question. I got a phone call from someone that I thought about you when I was talking to him on the phone. He just Googled life coach and I popped up, Nurse Gone Rogue popped up because I do obviously like business, medicine, life, like all these different things. And he was a guy that was like, have a good job. And he had called me multiple days in a row and I was just like busy, I was like, just book a call, whatever. I was busy. And every time I'd call back, it would go straight to voicemail because he didn't have signal at his work. And so we finally linked up yesterday. And I really thought of you because I'm curious more than anything. Like, I'd like for you to listen to like what he was telling me because I started asking him questions to see like, are we even a good match? And I feel like now that I'm hearing you talk about it, I'm like, yeah, kind of, this might be a good confirmation for like maybe your ideal avatar, but correct me if I'm wrong. So he's a gentleman, 30s, 40s, not sure yet, has a pretty stable life, has a good craft, like technically, for job, like more of a mechanic type of thing. Said that he just felt like he was having issues with like commitment. And I asked him like which category, and he's like, just in life in general. Like he said he had hired a life coach at one point, canceled a few appointments at one point, because I was like, is it romantic? Is it professional? Is it personal? And he's like everywhere. Like, sounds like just like no, either. I don't know if he's scared. He just sounded very flat, like flat affect in his voice, kind of numb, kind of like aimless, wandering aimlessly. And he's like, I just want something more, but I can't really like put my finger on it, kind of thing. How do we, because that's another thing. It's like they have to want it, right? And they have to want to go and get it. And it's like, I asked him, I said, well, if you prepay sessions, is that motivation enough for you to like go? Because a lot of times that's how we filter, are people serious about what they want to do?
Yep.
And he was like, yes and no. And in my thought, I'm like, in my mind, my wheels turning. I'm like, well, if I charge you enough, you're going to fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, if it hurts your pocketbook and
make
it's
it
like,
painful.
yeah, if it's painful enough, like you're going. Because I told him, I was like, if you book anything with me, like it's a no refund policy unless you have an actual like excuse documented and it's like 24 hours in advance so we can reschedule. Like you have to be respecting time. I told him like time is money, mine, yours, everyone's, time is the most valuable asset that we have. So, but I'm curious, like, what would you do with someone like that? That's kind of like you can tell they're reaching out for help, but you also can't like pluck them, right? Because I've learned this in the past year, like, don't stand in the way of karma. I don't know if you've ever thought about it that way, but I'm a very like helping, nurturing person. And a lot of times I'll stand in the line of fire, but someone has had an entire life before they came to me for help, even though they're asking for help. Like you have to really evaluate it because a lot of times like I'll get shots, it affects my life, my personal life, which is already chaotic enough. And then it's like, I feel like their karma, if people believe in karma or whatever, what goes around comes around, whatever you want to call it, life, life. But then it ends up toppling on top of us. And it's kind of like you're picking up too many rocks along the way and putting them in your backpack, which are not yours, kind of thing. So how would you address that situation or deal with it? And is that a person that you would even work with?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like someone that would be a perfect fit for me, honestly. You know, a conversation that I have with people all the time is you can't do anything until you decide what you want for yourself. And so creating a very clear vision for who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world, the things that really matter to you, and defining what that is.
Goals.
Define that. Once you can get clear on what that is, then everything else falls into place.
This is huge.
Because from that moment forward, every decision that you make is either a vote for being that person that you want to be or being the person that you were or are or whatever, right? But as soon as you make that decision to say, I'm not John the alcoholic cokehead anymore, right? I'm not John the
right. Whatever labels you want to slap on it.
I am the John who lives a incredible life and has fun and values people and understands the importance of human to human connection and does all of the little things to make a difference for other people and to make myself the best version of myself that I can be for other people. So once I made that decision for myself, everything else fell into line, because then it's like, hey, do you want to go out drinking? Is that a vote for who I want to be?
Does that align with my vision? Right.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere this quote, and it's really it really has marked me, because it's like, I think that's a skill I was never truly taught. First of all, 80% of what you physically write down is going to be accomplished. Like, that's a statistical fact that a lot of people don't know. So like pen to paper, physically, like the reality is your brain, as you're writing on the paper, is actually coming up with solutions on how to get to what you're doing on paper. So that one. And then number two, the notion of like, once you have identified like what you want, who you want to be, what your goals are, all you have to do is say no to everything that does not take you to that. And you have a very clear vision. Is that what,
Exactly.
like, I feel like that's what you're describing and saying.
Exactly. And you know, it's really funny that the first thing that you said there about writing things down and it coming to fruition, you know, journaling's been a big part of my journey over the past few years. And, you know, I go through ebbs and flows with it. It's sometimes where I feel called to, it's sometimes when I don't. You know, for a while it was every single night before bed, just writing down
Brain dumping,
thoughts or, you know, whatever it was. And the last time that I opened my journal was probably like a month and a half ago. I didn't look at the date, but I opened it last night. You know, just to give myself that time to put stuff down on paper. And you know, the last time that I wrote on it was right before I started training for the Tampa Bay 100. And you know, while I've been training for this, I've needed to wake up at 4:30 in the morning a majority of the days of the week to go on my runs and get them done before it gets way too hot or before I, you know, have
Get
other
busy.
obligations for the rest of the day, you know. And the last thing that I wrote in my journal right before I started this program that I'm doing right now: early to bed, early to rise makes a man wealthy, healthy, wealthy, and wise. And
That's right.
I opened that last night and I saw it and I just got chills. It brought a tear to my eye, and
Ooh.
I closed the journal without writing another word.
Because it was just confirmation.
Yep.
That like, I wrote it and I'm executing. I'm on the right track. I'm
Exactly.
good. And that was all the validation you needed, was from yourself. From your
Exactly.
former self to your future self saying, hey, I'm doing it.
Yep.
Let's fucking go.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I feel that.
And you know, it's been something where over the past, you know, month and a half, you know, I did the Pinellas Trail Challenge last year. So, you know, kind of backing up on my history here with running. I didn't start running until less than 2 years ago. I went on my first run in adulthood. on November 16th of 2023. 2 weeks after that, I completed a Spartan Beast half marathon. Fast forward 9 months after that, and Andrew, our landscaping buddy and
Eco Eden.
fellow psychopath,
Special shout out. Yeah.
Eco Eden Landscaping, bringing a slice of the Garden of Eden to your backyard.
Woo! If that's not a commercial, I don't know what is.
Anyway, so Andrew calls me on a Tuesday and he's like, "Hey, I just signed up for this race on Saturday. You want to do it with me?" And I'm in the car and I'm like, "What kind of race? An ultra marathon?" I'm like, on Saturday? Yeah, it's free. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm in. So we just went out and
You're like, if it's free, it's for me, and I'll take 3.
exactly. Holy shit. And I had no idea. I mean, I hadn't run more than a half marathon before that, And
Right.
so you go out, you show up on race day, and you say, fuck it, I'll see what happens.
Kind of like Sheldon said, show up and see what happens. Was Sheldon part of that too, or no?
Sheldon was not a part of that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was later. That was last year.
yeah, that was last year. That was 2023 or 4, I guess, 2024. But yeah, showed up and, I had this thing that came to me in that morning, how to eat an elephant. And it's one fucking bite at a time. And so that was just my mantra the whole time is, I got 46 bites of an elephant that I got to chomp down. And
Yeah.
if I just keep one foot in front of the other, I'm going to eat that fucking elephant. And so, I went out and I did that and it was a huge struggle. And I had signed up for a marathon in the summer of last year that was in February 9th of this year. So, I had in my mind, oh, I'm going to go out and do a marathon and that's going to be like the big thing. But after I do the 46, the marathon's not that big a deal. Right? So I get into strongman. I do a strongman competition on February 1st, then a marathon on February 9th, a high intensity interval competition on February 15th. And so like February was just this like insane month where I go from, top level strongman to top level endurance with a marathon to top level hit with Spartan DecaFit. And then I don't do any more running competitions other than Spartan races until the Pinellas Trail Challenge again this year. And, I had done a marathon. I'd done the 46 before. I thought it wasn't going to be that big of a challenge. I wasn't training for it the way that I was supposed to be, that you should be training for it. It was just kind of another
Just
one
a
of
lack
those
of knowledge.
Yeah, well,
Like,
Not-
like lack of knowledge towards like marathons is what I mean.
yeah, I guess there is a lack of knowledge just because I haven't done the training, right? So hands-on knowledge is the most important thing possible.
Yeah, the experience for sure.
Yeah, and I thought it would be something that like I just built my body up to a point and the mental resolve to the point where it wouldn't be that much of a challenge. But it was, maybe not as much of a mental challenge. Baby T was with me this year, so she was by my side the whole time, and so having her in my corner was big, and just having known that I'd done it before was big, but it was still an insane challenge. And so I got to, I got to mile 36 and there's a turnaround there, and I get to mile 36, I sit down in an Adirondack chair, and I'm getting snacks, getting drinks, yada yada yada, and I go to stand up and I fall right back down.
Your body's
and I'm
locked.
like, oh my God. So I need to push myself out of the chair, and I stand up, and as I stand up, my legs are just shaking back and forth. And I take the first couple steps away from the aid station. I'm like, holy shit, 10 more miles. Okay. One foot in front of the other. And, I made it through. But that was a huge wake-up call because I'd been planning, I'd been telling other people that I was going to do the Across Florida 200. But after doing that, I realized, okay, I could do that and essentially walk it for 4 days with little sleep and be able to make it through this. But is that really what I want to do? No, I want to set a challenge for myself that I can feel proud of how I accomplish it. I don't want to be walking for a majority of it. I want to be able to push myself physically to the point where I am at complete and total exhaustion and, really feel accomplished in doing this.
Right.
So this other race, the Tampa Bay 100, is here in town and provided an excellent opportunity to do the race and then speak at Canadelic the night that the race ends about how psychedelics can change your fucking life. And
Wow.
yeah, help to bring out.
And you did that?
I'm doing that November 8th.
Oh, you're
and
doing
9th.
that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It is awesome indeed. But, you know, so for this, I recognize, okay, this is something that I can actually train myself up for. It's going to take dedication. It's going to take determination. It's going to take so many. It's
going to take an actual plan,
mornings.
right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about,
Exactly.
writing it down and executing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And so, you know, early to bed, early to rise.
Makes a man
Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I have two things that I want to circle back on. Number one, because you just talked about her, Baby T. I want you to talk a little bit more about her and how like impactful it's been. You know, I know a little bit of the story. You guys met. It was a super fast, like, I mean, twin flame type of sparks. You're now happily married, right? So you guys are working on like building this dream life that you both have together. I want more of like what was different about when you two met and what was like the intuition or the feeling. I know she's not here, so maybe one day we'll sit down and actually like record with her as well, because I'd like to hear like her side of it. But what do you feel like was different? And then what, you know, modern dating, it's like so unheard of to like meet someone, really connect, have like both the chemistry and the compatibility, the connectivity, and like really like just like grasp it all and then take it and run with it.
Yeah.
What do you feel like was the difference between like, you know, I'm sure you said you were dating a girl like back in the day, like you've dated women, you've been around women, right? Obviously. So I'm just more curious about like the experience between the two of you and how this like completely took flight and how it's taking shape.
Yeah. You know, how I would love to tell you the story of how we met. How in depth would you like me to go with it?
I would like you to go just on your end of it.
Okay.
And just be like, you know, I saw her, this is what I felt, this is what I thought, this is what, like, were you on psychedelics at the time? What, like, or is this just a pre-wiring that's been happening and brewing, and now all of a sudden you trust your gut and you went with it?
So let me back up.
Okay.
Beginning of 2024, I broke up with this girl on New Year's Eve of 2023 into 2024. I started 2024 with a new job. I was selling the services of a physician to personal injury attorneys, and I started that job at the beginning of 2024. I started 75 Hard program where you have to do 2 workouts a day, read 10 pages of a book, drink a gallon of water, stick to a diet. I started that on January 11th and then restarted on January 13th. Anyway, just setting the scene here. Day 27 of 75 Hard, I go out to play pickleball with one of my friends, and he can tell that my mind is not on pickleball because I'm stressed about this job. I know that it's not who I want to be. It's causing me to
unrest.
put forth. Yeah, I'm putting forth a false version of myself to show up for these attorneys and kiss ass in a way that just isn't.
And you're like,
me.
no.
Yeah, exactly. And the physician says to me at one point, he's like, I feel like you really like going out and talking to the attorneys because you get to play dress up and put on a suit. And I'm like, I fucking hate wearing a suit.
Literally.
Yeah. No.
John's like, just because I look good in one doesn't mean I want to wear it.
Yeah, I fucking dress up. I mean, come on. But anyway, so I go out and play pickleball with one of my friends, and he's like, yeah, your mind's not on the game. Let's go get dinner. So we go get dinner. We sit down and talk, just about life and journeys through it. He's been one of my best friends since my freshman year of college. He moved down to St. Pete from New Jersey.
Awesome.
Just a month after I did. So it was just incredible having him here for the time that he was here.
Right.
But I go to leave from that dinner and I go to bike home. And as I'm biking home, I get a message. Your night's not done. You need to stay out. And so I'm like, okay, that's weird, but let's listen. So
heaven just downloads things into your brain like that.
It started that night. It started that night.
Wow.
Yeah. And to answer your question that you haven't asked yet, a 0.5 gram of mushrooms. So small amount.
You knew what I was going to ask.
Yep. And so I go to bike home, and as I'm approaching my parking deck, I get that message. So instead, I bike towards the St. Pete Pier. It's a Thursday night, 8, 9 o'clock. It's February, so it's cold, it's dark. I get down to the end of the pier, there's nobody there, and I'm able to bike all the way down the ramp at the end of the pier. I put my head on the railing, and I lose everything. All the emotion just pours out of me. There's a puddle of tears on the concrete, and there's just like so much frustration from like starting this job, thinking it was going to be like this ticket to the next stage of my life where, you know, I'm making an impact. I'm a director of sales for a company. It's a startup with great earning potential, and it's a part of the community here in Tampa Bay, and I just
Right.
feel really good about it. But after a month and a half, I realized it's not that. And so, you know, all of that comes out of me. I lay down on the grass at the end of the pier, and I'm looking up at the stars. And as I'm looking up at the stars, I get a message. Dude, I've sent you intuition your whole life, and you've chosen not to listen. Are you ready to start listening? And I said, yes, whatever it is, just tell me. He's like, okay, well, you know what you need to do. And so I quit my job 2 days later. I got my personal training certification. I started Get Psyched Fitness. 75 Hard continues. And, you know, there's a number of choices that you have through that, right? It's this program that forces you to be extremely diligent with
With yourself, your
schedule.
self-discipline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because if you miss anything from that list of things, you have to start back over on day one. So you need to stick to that fucking program. And if I did not stick to that program exactly as it was laid out, I would have not been at Best Day Fitness on March 27th when I met Sheldon, who introduced me to Andrew, who then started inviting me to ESC. And on the first day of ESC, or about a month later, after hearing about ESC for a month and choosing not to go, I'm getting a message. This is the week you need to go this week. Okay, so I go. ESC is at Ferg's this week. And I meet Pete, Canadelic Pete, who tells me if you can get your book completed by the time of the next Canadelic, which is in July, I'll give you an opportunity to speak and sell the book. I'm like, fucking
Absolutely.
thank you. I
Yes.
ride my bike home and I'm just screaming, thank you, thank you, thank you to the sky, because God
Which was the
has
other question I was going to
put
ask
me-
you about the book. Yeah.
God has put me in this position, and I've listened to these messages to be able to have this incredible experience. Anyway, fast forward to that, I get the book complete. I have the speaking opportunity at Canadelic, and
What's your book called?
the book is called Your Mindset is Your Reality, a firsthand account of the positive effects of psilocybin on mental health and addiction, available on Amazon Kindle and iTunes as an audiobook, which is just released, so breaking news,
And physically
on Amazon.
on Amazon.
Yep.
Great.
Or in person if you know me.
Or
I'll
in
give you a
person,
signed
exactly.
copy.
Just
So,
show up.
yeah.
Show up to Get Psyched Fitness Gym.
Exactly.
Right.
Also, if you donate to my GoFundMe for the 100-mile race, I'm doing that to sponsor MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Sciences.
Love that.
I'll give you a free copy of the book if you donate over $100. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so I go to Canadelic. I have this speaking opportunity. I have a beautiful day where there's so many people from my life over the last year that have been integral in this transformation process, who've shown up for me, who've
Encouraged you.
yeah, and
That's huge.
it's just so fulfilling.
Right.
And I get home and I'm smoking a joint in my backyard, and at 11,
I feel like most of the best stories start with that first sentence.
beautiful night,
right.
beautiful night, full moon, great day.
Okay. Full moon energy too. Well.
Yeah, I'm
It's
making
about
up
to
the
get
full moon,
juicy.
but man, the energy from this, right? Because I get home, I'm smoking a joint, and I get a text at 11:11 from a girl I met earlier that day.
What?
Yeah, who I thought was cute, but I could like feel the energy, like it wasn't really there. But I get a text from her at 11:11,
Okay.
and at that moment I say, I don't think it's her, but I'm ready for my person. I'm ready for my best friend who's going to challenge me, who's going to encourage me, who's going to believe in me, who's going to be by my side through everything that I want to do, and I can help her in that same type of way. But my absolute best fucking friend, I don't care if she has fucking purple hair, which Thancia
Right.
did have purple and pink hair when we met.
Right.
I don't care what she looks like. I know she's going to be attractive enough, otherwise she wouldn't be my person. And I'm ready for her. So every 11:11 from that point forward, I didn't have to describe what I wanted. I would look at the clock. I would see it's 11:11. I would just say, that one. I'm ready. bring
one.
her into my life.
Oh.
And, you know, that was the middle of July. Uh, September 6th, this is a week after the first Pinellas Trail Challenge that I do. I drive up to Ocala because I'm doing a competition called Deca Fit on Saturday morning. And so I go up to Ocala, I stay overnight, I wake up at 5 in the morning to go do this competition. I thought I made the world championships from it. And I'm driving home, and I'm like, okay, I got a 2-hour drive home. I'm going to be ravenously hungry by the time I get home. So I text this group chat of old friends that I had in St. Pete. And I'm like, hey guys, you know, I just made the world championships for this. Anyone want to go grab lunch? And as soon as I send that, I get the message, dude, you know they're not even going to respond. You have new friends now. Reach out to them.
Wow.
So
Wow. You're just giving me chill bumps after chill bumps.
you don't understand. Like, you just fucking wait. And, you know, so I start to make a group chat, and, you know, I put in Andrew and Marshall and Dr. Mike, and,
Right.
you know, the three of them come out and meet me for lunch, and I'm going back and forth on whether to include Sheldon or not, because, you know, we'd been in the circle but hadn't really connected,
Right.
you know, one-on-one, but I'm getting a message, include them, you're going to be grateful that you did. Okay. So those three meet me for lunch. Sheldon texts in the group chat, I can't meet for lunch, but I'm going to this party later if anyone wants to go. He sends an invite. It says it's going till like after midnight or whatever. And I'm
Nice.
like, okay, cool. You know,
You're like, that's my sign. I'm going to go party.
yeah, well, I'd been driving Uber every Saturday for the last 6 months. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what?
You deserve a little.
Yeah, just enjoy
You earned it.
yourself.
Right.
And so I say, okay, I'll meet you there, but I'll probably be there at like 6 o'clock. I'm exhausted from this competition. I want to go home and nap. So I go home, I lay down to nap at about 2 o'clock. And for like 30 minutes, I just can't fall asleep. And I just keep getting, you're not allowed to nap. Just get up and go to the party. Just get up and go to the party. And like 30 minutes in, I get up, I look at my phone, and I realize, okay, I can still nap for 2 hours and get to this party at the time that I said I was going to get there. I'm going to fucking nap. So I lay back down to nap again. And as soon as I lay back down, I get, don't nap, get up. You're not fucking listening. Go to the party now. And I sit up in bed like, what the fuck is going on? What
Right.
the fuck is going on? But I get up out of bed, I take a cold shower, I go over to the party, and 2 seconds after I walk in, I get a tap on the shoulder. Hey, I'm playing music for the party. Can you help me with bringing in equipment for my car? And it was fucking Baby T.
Oh
And
my God.
we spoke for like 30 minutes before she started performing. And if I got there at the time that I said I was going to get there.
You would have never gotten to talk to her.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
And what was going through your mind when you met her and when you were talking to her?
You know, there are some connections that you have that you just feel it right from the start, you know? And it was one of those that the conversation was so genuine and open and positive, and, you know, just so many good things that we connected on right from the start, to the point where, you know, we were talking for 30 minutes, and I'd gone there to hang out with my friends, you know,
Right.
like my friends are all outside doing their thing, and I'm like,
Right.
I really need to go hang out with my friends.
But I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
So, like, what did you feel like in your gut while you were talking with her? What, if you were to describe with like one emotion, I know you felt many, you felt a cocktail, but I want you to describe like the strongest emotion that you felt in your gut when it was like, yeah, this is 11/11.
You know, I'm not sure that I recognized it as that
Okay.
until a little bit later, because here's the thing, right? We had that conversation. It felt really good and genuine, and, you know, I went to hang out with my friends for the rest of the day.
Right.
She starts playing music, and I'm kind of like looking at the clock, like, she's been playing for fucking 3 hours. Like, I really want to talk to this girl again. But I'm hosting a class tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I have to get home and get ready for this and get the car packed up and everything like that. And I'm like, oh my God, how long is she going to play for? And at one point I'm sitting poolside, and I'm in love with this girl right from the fucking start. And you know, she's in a beautiful blue dress, and there's, you know, lights from the pool.
Her
and
pink
the
and purple
moon.
hair.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you feel? What was the strongest emotion? I'm gonna take you back to that because I'm curious.
I don't know that I have an answer for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Not something that I've really put enough thought into to really pinpoint,
That would be a nice one.
But
If you knew the answer, what would it be, John? I'm gonna push you.
Curiosity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Curiosity. Because, there's so much authenticity to who she is as a person.
Yes.
And it shines through in literally everything she does, every conversation that she has. She is wholeheartedly herself at every single moment. Mm-hmm. And that is the rarest thing to find in people.
Yes.
There are a couple of people in my life that I can say that about, and I'm so proud to have more than one person in my life that I can say that about, because it is so rare to find people that are so comfortable with themselves that they're just able to be and act and exist without fear of what people are going to think or trying to censor themselves for whatever reason. And so with that confidence and the obvious attraction and everything like that just rolled into one, it's just, oh, whoa, what is this?
I think you could probably describe Baby T as like the epitome of radical self-acceptance, which is a big like buzzword. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep, completely. And she's been through a fucking journey with finding herself too, You wouldn't know it by looking at her now, but she used to be like a hardcore Bible thumping Christian, and like,
I believe it.
Yeah, has gone through so many different iterations of who she is as a person to become the person that she is today. She grew up homeless, like was living out of a milk truck on the side of the road. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
At what age?
8.
With parents or?
With her father, who was recovering from some type of illness. I forget what it was.
Okay.
I was actually just talking to him about it the other day. And she needed to come home from school and take care of her sickly father while living in a milk truck.
What a testimony of a life. I can't wait to interview her and get her story.
So, like, it's just the most incredible person I met in my entire life.
And what a privilege for you to be like her partner at this point.
Exactly.
And to be able to make her life and happiness like your priority. Right? As I'm sure she does for you as well.
Yeah.
That's why you guys are such an incredible match.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm always gloating and saying you guys are my favorite couple.
Yeah.
Until I find my partner. Because then that'll be my favorite couple.
He's out there. Don't worry. Don't worry.
There's 8 billion people. There's got to be someone. But I'm so grateful that you came out today. And I learned about you. I think we could have like multiple episodes and just keep going down these rabbit holes. I feel like you're bringing a lot to like from the universe into this world that we're like all co-creating together. And super excited to probably get your book and go through it and have more conversation around, how you finally bit the bullet. I know I have a few books that live inside of me, and I'm just like not procrastinating, but very hesitant of writing it for all of my own like reasons, personal, professional, all the different things. But so proud of your journey and learning about you. And I remember working out with you only one time so far. I know I need to work out with you more frequently because you are very challenging in the ways that I've never probably experienced. I mean, the amount of angle and precision that you give on certain exercises. My micro movements definitely fed my micro muscles that I didn't know I hadn't been isolating
Hell yeah.
for a long time. So I felt that. I was like, wait, those muscles have muscles? Like I didn't know that. But it's been an absolute pleasure and joy talking with you. And I look forward to like more and more to come from Get Psyched. I'm excited to be like part of your journey.
Yeah, baby. Build the empire.
All right. Let's fucking go.
Love you, day.
That was a great podcast. Woo! We did good.
Woo!
Yeah, I think Trevor's here, right?